Title of the show is Redo China, and it's created by a very well-known Chinese creator, Pang Sung Lee, who have asked or invited 14 artists from all around the world to come and do some work about what they think about China. There is some artists from Cuba, there is an artist from Japan, two from Korea, and one of them from Kenya, myself from the Sudan, an artist from South Africa, and there is a British artist and one from Sweden. We met last year in some place called Art Umai in New York, and we decided to, he invited us with the idea and decided to do the show. As we all know, China going through very serious changes. There is a lot of things happening in China. And the Chinese government investing heavily in the Sudan. The Chinese government investing in the oil. And the places that the oil or the excavation of the oil have been happening in the Sudan, these are the places that suffering from the genocide. As we all also know, the Sudanese government moved people from their villages by killing all of them, and it just doing the work in the oil in those villages. The piece that I will be showing, it will be, this is details, I'm still working on it. When I go back, it will be ready. Still have about 3 or 4 weeks. It will be rice paper. Rice paper is very traditional paper that's made by Chinese. Like people do calligraphy, they write in this called rice paper. So the materials is Chinese materials. Also the tools, if you see some of the Chinese characters, they have some gesture, they look very much like drawings. I have been using the same material that you can see them in the black in here. Also I have been using some oil, you can see it in different actual oil, like you can see some oil in this one. And I have been using plasma or blood, real blood from real people in this drawing. This is a real blood that went here, here, this and this and this. I don't know if you guys have been hearing about the Lost Boys or not. Those are a group of children that they lost everything, including their family, their parents, in the war, in different villages. So they have to walk from the Sudan, and during this walk they get other children that went through the same experience. They walk through the borders to Ethiopia. When they reach Ethiopia, the Ethiopian army chased them. So they have to come back again to the Sudan till they go to Kenya, till they went to Kenya. During that time, during these trips, they all seen some of their friends have been died, some of them died, some of them have been eaten by animals. They have to cross several rivers. Some of them have been eaten by crocodiles. So they went through very, very harsh, very serious experience. Some of them in Boston. I have their friends of mine, and I volunteered with working with them and so forth. So I asked some of them to donate some plasma for me, and they did. The plasma is the blood. This is the color thing in the blood, and I used them in these drawings, including my own and other friends that I know. So the idea is to give the drawing or to give the artwork a present, such a strong present, an identity that can communicate with you. And this is a detail for this piece, and they all very much gesture with drawing and just try to view it. This is another piece that I did a few years ago. It's called History and Memory, تاريخ والذاكرة. And these are small tiles اللي هي المربعات دي معمولة من جبس, made out of plaster. Each one of them 1 foot by 1 foot. And if you look a little closer, here we'll see these hands, like actual hands. These hands, I casted them from male, female, young, old. They have been in my studio asking all the people I know that they come to my studio, and I made these hands. Because the idea of hands is very powerful. With your hands you can do so many things. You can do a lot of good things, you can do a lot of bad things. At the same time, you can prevent things. And I covered a wall. I did the room, or 4 walls with these small tiles. And in the top of each wall, I have a projector very much like this. And as you're walking through the room, the projector, the 4 projectors will project images like this. Images that came from the Sudan, images that came from the suffering of the Sudanese people and the human aspect of the Sudan. Some of the images will be projecting into you as you're walking. It will be very much like this. So some of the images will be projecting into me. So the idea is that you may become part of the work. You might participate. You might be part of the whole installation. And this work of installation that I have been doing for a longer period of time, I've been doing for the last 10 years, trying to control the whole space, that when you enter, you are part of it. You are not, because there's a lot of things about denial in the Sudan. People deny things. They deny that they have a very serious problems. And then when you walk in, that there is no way for you to deny that. Sometimes I use sound as well. I did a lot of work with dictatorship, because there is 2 kinds of dictatorship. There is civilian dictatorship. Also, there is military dictatorship. These are the hands that I have them in a circle. The circle is very important to us, very important in Sudanese culture. If you are, if you want to go to the dance, Sibir or such, you can walk in a circle, or you dance in a circle. If your grandmother will tell you a story, you always sit around the circle. If you want to sit equal to anybody else, also you will be sitting in the circle. And these hands, just referring to this idea of how the circle is very important. This is a jalabiya. It's a regular jalabiya. We all know the jalabiya is the symbol of the Sudan identity and so forth. Identity. Oh. It's the symbol for the Sudanese identity. Yeah.
Official Sudanese identity.
Well, that's debatable. We can go through that later, no problem. Anyway, it's a symbol that most of the people in the north of the Sudan, they use a jalabiya. Even most of the people in a lot of different parts of the Sudan, they use a jalabiya as a sign of who they are. And I'm using it here as a symbol for the quote-unquote the official Sudanese identity as what's dominant. And then later on we can talk about that. This is what's dominant so far. And I have them upside down. I designed this huge one. It's about 9 feet high. And I hang it from upside down. And as I mentioned, there is the military dictatorship that the Sudanese people have been going through for a long time. Also, there is the civilian one. And that's the dangerous one. That's the tricky part. And if you look a little closer on this one, you will see some medals that's behind, just like the military bedla. That's have a lot of medals, but this time the medal have been attached into the jalabiya, to the civilian one. And the idea of doing that, as you're thinking about these medals, these are honors. If you are in the military, they give them to you to honor you for the bravery and for the good work. It's very important what the good work is. The good work for the Sudanese army is killing a lot of civilian people. If you kill a lot, because the Sudanese army, they have never had the experience of going into a war with another nation, but they have a lot of experience in killing people in villages and so forth. So civil wars, this has been going on for such a long period of time, and often the Sudanese army have been killing that. So I'm referring to that as basically you kill more people, they give you medals. And this is the idea of